Yes, sir, in the back.
In 1974, the English introduced a law called the Prevention of Terrorism Act. They were having trouble getting the votes, and a bomb went off in a village in Ireland, killed 33 people.
Yeah, isn't it funny how every time they introduce one of these things, something like that happens?
Next day they had the vote and it passed.
Yeah.
But before that happened, they didn't have the votes, and I just wondered if you had any comment on that. It's been proven of late that was an MI5 operation too.
What I believe is that what happened in Oklahoma City wasn't the product of a couple of deranged people. First place, deranged people can't think that logically, keep it secret for that long, and pull it off that well. Not only that, but the extent of the damage, according to experts, and I mean experts, our biggest expert that we've talked to, that we talk about in this paper, is a brigadier general retired in, I'm not going to tell you what service he served in, but he was in charge. That'll be printed in the next paper. Once we know that that is distributed far and wide, then he can't be hurt. So we can't reveal his identity just yet, but it will be printed in the next paper. He was in charge of the explosives research laboratory for one of our branches of the armed services for 26 years. He has experimented with and supervised the production and implementation of explosives and bombs for his whole career. He educated me personally into what happened in Oklahoma City. First, he said there was at least 2 explosions, one outside the building, which produced a crater and probably nothing more than a few broken windows. He said it did not have to be in a Ryder truck or a truck at all. It could have been in a car. Nobody really knows what it was in. They say it was in a Ryder truck. But strangely, the guy who just delivered the UPS packages to that building and left at 8:58 on the dot said that there was no large vehicle of any kind parked in front of the building, and the bomb went off at 9:02, 4 minutes later. Now, whether somebody had time to park a Ryder truck or any kind of a big truck that they say that the bomb was in those 4 minutes is subject to debate. But he said that the columns in the building, and there are 4 rows of 11 columns each. These columns are huge columns, steel reinforced concrete, which he told to me is called a hard target, which means you can't explode a bomb in the front of the building and bring those columns down. They're hard targets. He said there had to be at least one other explosive in the building of a type that could direct its energies to the base of those columns and bring them down, because they all came down leveled at ground level. Now, because they were leveled at ground level, he said that the only way that that could be done is if individual charges were placed to go off at the same time at the base of those columns, and they could either be satchel charges or what he called, what did he call them?
Cutting charges.
Well, they are cutting charges, but that's not the word that he used.
Shape charges.
Shape charges is exactly what he said. So, and there it is. At least 2 bombs. No doubt about it.
How far apart were the explosions? In a matter of just seconds or
10 seconds.
According to these seismographs, there's about 10 seconds. Could be 8 seconds, but no more than 10 seconds. All the witnesses there report they heard 2 distinct explosions. The press isn't reporting it. The government doesn't say there was 2 explosions, but everybody who heard it said there was 2 explosions.
I did a TV interview with this guy. I saw it on TV. The guy pointed it out on TV.
Yeah. So, you might want to ask the communist news networks why they're hiding these, why they're hiding the witness testimony, why are they hiding the fact that a fertilizer bomb could not possibly have done that damage. I believe that what happened was the same thing that happened in Nazi Germany when they burned the Reichstag. Who benefits? What does it promote? Tyranny.
Who has the reason?
If this omnibus counterterrorism bill passes Congress, they can say the Constitution Party is a terrorist group, round us all up and throw us in jail. Now, you think that's really something? They could do the same thing to the Republican Party and to the National Rifle Association and the Boy Scouts. It gives the president dictatorial powers to name any group he wishes with no parameters whatsoever as a terrorist organization. Without review.
How about any individual?
Suspends habeas corpus and a lot of other things, which is exactly what Hitler did. He burned the Reichstag. He named all of his opposition political enemies as the terrorist who burned the Reichstag, rounded them all up, and took over Germany. And since the Reichstag was burned, there was no more Congress. All in one fell swoop. And I'm telling you right now that Comrade Clinton is fixing to do the same thing.
Unbelievable. A question?
Yes, sir.
What's the status of the Conference of States? Where's that at now?
The Conference of States is dead, and I'm going to tell you who killed it. It was the hour of the time and the Constitution Party.
All right.
Bottom line, who benefits?
Well, I think the government does, and Clinton, since H.R. 390 came out in February, the counter-terrorist bill, which calls for complete dictatorial powers for the president to decide who is a terrorist and who isn't, without any due process, habeas corpus. They can literally take you off to jail without anyone knowing about it and declare you a terrorist.
Is this America's Reichstag?
Yes, yes, no question about it. Yes, it is. This is no question about it. Honest to God, it's almost as if President Clinton had his speech all orchestrated, like he was all prepared because it came so quickly after this bombing. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yes, it is, and there'll be others. There'll be more violence too. I'm sure of it.
If there was one individual in the United States who has benefited more than any other from this, who would that be?
Well, I would say it's definitely President Clinton and Janet Reno.
Who does this serve? Does this serve the purpose of the New World Order? Does this serve the patriots? Does this serve the American people? Does this serve the militia? Who does this serve? What does it serve? And it's very easy to figure out. It's not all that difficult. And if it works to progress to the New World Order, which is the real goal of what's going on, then you kind of narrow the field as to who's in back of it and who's promoting this and how they're doing it. I have absolutely no doubt at all that this serves the New World Order, because I really believe that it's a question of taking the money from the American people and getting rid of it and getting us down to our knees. I consider America to be the last bastion of freedom, of liberty, and in God we trust.
Our enemy is a common enemy, regardless of where you're coming from. We got the same enemies. If you're a far leftist, unless you're one of them, we're liable to be sharing a cell someday. So we better find out what we got in common and take on Big Brother.
If it was known tomorrow morning that the CIA, the ISA, the Clinton administration was in some way directly responsible for the bombing in Oklahoma City, do you think any of the major news media would publicize it?
No, I don't figure they will. No. It's up to us, the people, the rank and file, the grassroots. And whether or not they all, some people, unfortunately, unless they hear it on the tube, they don't believe it. But that's where we come in. There's a army of patriots out there that are on R&R. They haven't joined the battle yet. And I'm speaking of the churches of America. Those that claim the name of Jesus Christ, they're still on the sidelines for the most part. And I would say to them, get your battle gear on, your armor, as Ephesians tells us to do, and join the battle. Get down on the floor of the Colosseum like they did 2,000 years ago. Unless that happens, it's all over. We're going into total slavery.
Clinton is talking about transferring, well, our religious rights from God as we know God, whether he be a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian, to the gods of government.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's not even the gods of government. Government is the God. And this was part of the thing was behind Waco. If you paid attention to what, and I always call him Clintonocchio, that's my name for him because I can't really bring myself to call him president. I really can't. If you listen to what he had to say after what happened, that Holocaust in Waco, that absolute slaughter, that genocide, that murder, that massacre, you know, we don't even need a jury system anymore. We don't need anybody but Clintonocchio because he became the judge, the jury, and the executioner. He made statements like David Koresh killed those children. He murdered those children. And he also made it very clear that this was going to be a lesson to all of us. If we really practice, he didn't use these words exactly, but he let us know in no uncertain terms that if we exercised our rights of religion and we joined any kind of off the mainstream type of thing, if we exercised our freedom to believe and to do our own thing in that respect, that this too could happen to us.
In other words, getting rid of all opposition to the president.
Absolutely. Bingo. Bingo. Just opposition, in other words, any kind of dissident at all.
So, in other words, you're saying this has the signature of a CIA bomb?
Well, those are your words. Let's just talk about it. Why are they hiding it, you know? Let's drag it all out. I think it's curious that all the BATF guys were out of the building, including all the records and files and everything else, and they weren't even there for the explosion. Why'd they miss the party? Weren't they invited?